just one of those days.
There we go. What do we got here?
Early, this mid to late 2000s, first generation Moog Little Phatty. This is right around the time when Bob Moog was pretty much at the end of the road at Moog due to his age and stuff like that. This was right around the time when he designed his final synth with his big final hurrah, which was the Moog Voyager. And then this was kind of what was coming afterwards, and kind of the evolution, the beginning of the evolution with what you see now on the market with the Sub Phatty and the subsequent 37. And, you know, they have that iconic bendy shape like this.
Yeah.
But this is kind of where it all started with that.
Well, I want to check out some of the presets first.
Yeah,
That's
go ahead.
generally how I like to start. Preset number 0, Moog Stage 2. Basically the classic thing.
Yeah, classic lead sounds.
Nice. It looks like your basic bread and butter, like oscillators, filter, envelopes, everything is like kind of what you see is what you get. Everything is just like
it's one
tweakable.
knob for each section, basically.
That's what I like. That's my favorite thing. No menu diving. I'm sure there's some menu diving.
So the classic Taurus C sounds. So like I said, you mentioned you had the old Taurus 3 pedals. This shared that sound engine, so those sounds translate over to this too.
Got it. Yeah, that brings me back to when I had the Taurus pedals. What am I playing?
Pink Floyd, obviously.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, there's a bit of that grittiness that it's capable of.
What is it about the Moog filters? Like technically,
it's juicy. It just has that juice.
What is it?
It's juicy.
It's like that's. It's got the juice.
It's got the juice.
How is it, what's the juice?
24 dB. I'm trying to remember if it was a 2-pole or a 4-pole. But I think you can actually change the poles of the filter on this. So you can make it a 2-pole, kind of similar to like an Oberheim, or you can make it the 4-pole, which is like the standard Moog filter.
I think on the Oberheim you could choose either one. As well.
But the Oberheim was famous for the 2-pole. Moog was famous for the 4-pole. Juice.
It's got the juice.
Wow.
Moog filters. This is my favorite kind of synthesizer. I just love looking at the basic sections, and from the very basic components you can get such a wide range of sounds.
Yeah. And like I said, the one thing I really, really love about this the 21st century Moog stuff is just like, it does have a really smooth sound compared to like the grittier Sub 37 and Sub Phatty stuff. But you know, you still have the old school overload where you can get that grittiness to it. So you know, you can get dirty, you can get gritty, but you can also be smooth, and you know, it just has this warm characteristic that I really like about it. Yep, there it is. Laser sounds. A little bit of filter ring mod, super fast LFO.
Yeah.
So actually, I think your source is oscillator 2 is controlling the modulation. Yeah, so you had oscillator 2 speed, which is stupid fast, was modulating the filter. So now that you're on the regular LFO waveforms.
When you say oscillator 2's speed, do you mean
the frequency of oscillator 2?
Okay, so at that point, so when I think of low-frequency oscillator, I think of oscillations below 20 hertz, but this is sort of like just using the actual audio range oscillation to modulate the other oscillator.
Or basically, in this case, the way it was set, the filter. And you got the classic, funky style Moog bass. Now, this would be a sound that would be cooler if it had the same capabilities your Raleigh had, where you get that extra bit of expression instead of the envelope doing it.
More and more keyboards are adopting the MPE thing.
I know, it's crazy, right?
I feel like what I'm seeing in this is a certain beginning of a certain marriage between analog circuitry and digital interface.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah,
Yeah.
since these are digital encoders.
Yeah.
That is digitally controlled analog.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm seeing like all the great analog stuff that you want, but I'm seeing things like, tempo synced BPM on the arpeggiator and just being able to like scroll presets, but I'm not seeing some of the things that come later.
Right.
Like maybe a better interface for saving and recalling presets.
Yeah, I believe you're basically working with, there's a store knob there, and I'm pretty sure you have to go to cursor, or it's master. Yeah, there's a way to get into it. I'm trying to think of it right now. I haven't done it in a while.
Yeah.
But basically, yeah, there are a few tricks you got to do. But, for the time, this was, like I said, I think what they were trying to do is make a lead instrument that was very live capable, and, things wouldn't get messed up in a live environment as far as, like, knocking a knob or something. And yeah, but now we're out of bass territory. Now we're in more lead synth territory. Kinder Moog.
Summer lead.
Let's get edging into the more hip hop lead stuff.
Yeah. See if you recognize this one. I have to think how it goes.
Oh man, this is on the tip of my tongue.
I think it's that.
Oh. I'm just not that well versed in hip hop. It's just what it's killing me.
But you're well versed in this, though. You know
I've
this,
heard
though.
the lick. I've heard the lick. All right, tell me, what is it? Slim Shady.
Yeah. It's the end. It's the end of the song.
Oh, the end of the song.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay.
I do find the range of sounds here to be not that wide, but that's fine. Like,
yeah.
I feel like I'm almost spoiled by like modern keyboards that can do like literally everything.
Yeah, I think that's because I do agree with you there. There's more or less a lot of bass and a lot of lead on this.
It's like a bunch of
maybe
lead and bass.
a few little effect things here and there. Now there's one of your kind of wacky effect sounds.
Okay, and so I'm not seeing what I think I'm hearing, but what I think I'm hearing is an LFO sort of like modulating the pitch of one of the oscillators.
Yes,
like
your
with
destination
random.
Your destination is oscillator 2. I'm trying to think. I don't know if it's an on the front panel thing, but I believe in the menus you can do sample and hold, which it has to be doing that because
It sounds like a random.
it's a random sample and hold. Yeah. And then, as true for every synth, sounds like these can always be further improved with outboard effects.
Yeah.
Like that with a ping pong delay or some shimmer reverb or something like that. It's just like takes it to the next level. I always admire how like this particular synth. Only because it's like I'm a big Rush fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed Geddy Lee was always playing one of these on top of like a Roland Phantom F8 or something.
One of
like
these
that.
specifically.
One of these specifically. This was the lead synth he used. Like I don't know, like they were probably using computers backstage too for some presets and sounds and stuff, especially with the Roland Phantom. But this is what he had on stage for like the last few tours before they officially stopped. So that's like that was one of the cool things I thought about. It was like, oh man, if Geddy Lee was using one of these, this had to be pretty nice.
One of these in the Taurus pedals.
Ooh, that's wild.
There's something.
There's some.
So what is happening with this? There's something here.
There's oscillator sync going on. So
could you explain to me what oscillator sync is?
Oscillator sync is basically you're syncing oscillator 1 to you're syncing the start of oscillator 1 with the start of oscillator 2, because usually both the waveforms of each other are independently going their own, but with sync you basically start them at the same time, like on the waveform at the same time. And because the way this preset's set up, we're using oscillator 2 to control the filter again, which is doing that crazy ring mod stuff when you're bending the wheel up.
That sounded beautiful all the way up, actually. Oh. That sounds so cool.
And the cool thing is, if you think back of this, like one of the songs, like the band The Cars, Let's Go, it's like wow wow wow. Never heard that, really. No. We gotta brush you up. We gotta brush you up on the new wave stuff. But basically, it was like just imagine an envelope doing that instead of my hand. Just imagine an envelope controlling that. Herbie.
Of course.
That's pretty much the preview of first impressions of what Moog was doing back in the early 2000s.
It's a cool little snapshot, especially with like recent events of
now stuff like the subsequent 37, you got a whole sequencer built in. You've got sub oscillators, pretty much just tons and tons of on the front panel features that don't require a lot of menu.
I do have to say that like a little bit, the addition of a little bit more of the digital stuff that you can do, I think brings the balance like to an optimal place. Like, I feel like you're limited with this.
Yeah, this is more towards the old school, but synths in terms of controllability on front panels, both with real potentiometers as well as digital encoders, has gone a very long way.
Yeah.